Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Unfiltered Vet Discussions. My name is Kelly, and I'm being joined by Jenny and Beth. If you have not already followed us on various social media platforms of your choice, please do. We're on all of them. I don't need to list them. Just find it, and follow us. The same with any podcast platforms that you follow. We're there too. So, find, like, subscribe, and comment. You know, there you go. So that is the public service announcement of today. But today we are going to talk about dog stories because all of us have them, but Beth has the newest dog story, fresh off the press,
15
with
minutes ago.
emotions still attached. So,
I have like a nice glazed donut look because I was just running through the woods after the most ill-behaved freaking little miniature dachshund in the whole land because she's an asshole. And I was picking vegetables. She followed me in, and I didn't realize the gate was open like this much. So I turn around to her like in the front yard, like looking at me, and I can just see her little face deciding, do I choose evil today? And she chose evil and turned and ran as fast as her little legs could carry her, giving me the finger into the woods. And I was like, fuck. So then I get my other dog, who's actually a very good boy, off leash. And I'm like, all right, Croy, we have to go try to collect your horrible little sister before she gets herself injured or mauled or something terrible happens. So I'm literally calling her and I can see her and she's just running just out of reach, being a huge asshole.
I
And
can just picture her little legs like,
yes,
"Ooh."
her tiny little feet. And she's like as fast as she can away from me. And we live right on this trail that's like very public. I was saying, I'm so glad I'm not wearing anything that says I'm a veterinarian or that I'm affiliated with veterinary medicine at all. I'm just going to pretend I don't know whose dog this is. It's not mine. My dog would be so behaved. And she runs down on the trail and starts barking at these ladies with their baby. And I'm like, can you try to catch my horrible dog? And then she's barking at them. She finally ran to me, like, thank God. But man, dogs. So
How did you
pretty
how did
good
you get
home.
how did you get this dog? Like, is she a rescue or how
She
did you get
is. Yeah. So all of my dogs are rescues because I run a dog rescue, Harley's Haven. So she's very cute and she's normally very sweet, but when given the choice, obviously she chooses evil. And she came to us as this tiny little, we have four dogs. She's dog number four. My husband wants to have two dogs, so you can see where that is, the math. And she came to us as this tiny 2 pound puppy who was so cute. And she had a horrible heart murmur and got diagnosed with a PDA. And so she had heart surgery when she was like 4 months old. And we just fell in love with her because I was like, well, she's so small, and like, I'm not gonna put her up for adoption until after her heart surgery to make sure she makes it. And by that time, it was like the kiss of death. Like,
you're
my
done?
whole family's like we're keeping her, right? And I was like, I mean, I'm not the one who's gonna mute the love here. It's my husband who's like, no, we don't need another dog. But he got so overruled, and so she stayed. But honestly, now I think I'm gonna put her up for adoption, and she's like free to a good home because she's an asshole.
That'll last for about 5 minutes and then you're gonna be like, okay, never mind, I love you.
Never mind, I still love you. I'm just really mad at you.
See,
So,
I had
have
a PDA puppy once. I
yeah.
had we were at CSU. Simon was in vet school, and I was working a double shift on Christmas because we needed the money. And so I was a emergency receptionist. And I at my break, I walked the whole hospital, and we ended up naming him Duncan. He was a little Yorkie. The only patient in the entire hospital on Christmas Day. And he was 2 pounds, and he is a Yorkie, and he was so cute. And I was like, babe. I asked the doctor, I'm like, can he just sit with me at the desk? Like, he can't be. This is sad. And yeah, fine. So of course my husband comes in to check on me, and I'm like, babe, we need to keep this dog. He's going to be my little accessory dog, and I'm going to carry him everywhere because he's a Yorkie and he's going to be so tiny. And we did the surgery, and it was like only the second one at the time that CSU had done. And I was working in radiology, so I got to be in the procedure under fluoroscopy. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. This is my dog. That little asshole 100% picked my husband, wanted nothing to do with me. I like, he would tolerate me if Simon wasn't around, but that was it. And I'm like, I saved your life. We did not have the money, but what do you do? I'm like, I saved your life, and this is the thanks I get. And nope, he lived to be 15, and he was my husband's truck dog all through when he graduated vet school, and that was that. And he wanted nothing to do with me.
Ungrateful.
So ungrateful. Freaking rescues. Kelly, how'd you get your dogs?
Well, my bigger one I got because a woman who I didn't even know had a golden doodle named Weston. He's still alive. He's 11. And I take walks every day. And Weston would see us and just sit down and not budge. His mom could not pull him because he wanted me to pet him. So Weston and I kind of have this bond. And I'm like, well, where did you get Weston? He's so loving. He's so amazing. He's so gentle. And I knew I was going to have to go buy a dog because the amount of allergies in our family. And just already up to my neck with allergies. I didn't want to try more allergies to the family pile. So that was a decision I thought really hard about. But so that was the deal. So I went to their breeder and I got Noah. Noah is not a Weston. Noah does not tolerate children well. Noah does not tolerate a lot of people well, actually. And so I feel really gaslit by the dog because I wanted Weston and I have Noah. And he and I have had to do a lot of training and understanding together, which may or may not include a broom at times over food aggression. But I think partly what happened to him was I got him, and then my husband at the time decided the dog and the kids were too much because he was sliding into major depression. So he left. And I'm like, okay, but now I'm picking up the pieces of like what's life. And eventually I got around to the dog. And it actually took me people at a veterinary conference, probably at VMX or WVC. I said, I'm trying to find the right vet because every time he takes Western meds, he can't keep them down. And I know he has problems, but we can't even get to the problems because we can't even start just treating the surface stuff that we see. So they found me a vet 30 minutes away who are Eastern Western and took him in. And the long short story, or the short long story, is he's allergic to chicken. And he was hurting and he had ulcers from nose to tail and had no B12 left in his body whatsoever. And the only thing he liked rubbed was his arms because when you pet his body, he hurt. So he learned in that impressionable stage of a young puppy that when people touched him, it didn't feel good, right? And so, but we lost that window of reversing that impression. And so now he's like, I don't know you, and are you going to hurt me? Because so you work with the dog. So he gets kenneled up a lot in my office, which is where I'm right now. If people come over, I just don't mess with it. He just gets to little timeout, right?
Mhm.
But that's how I got him. And then
I just like that you're so bummed that he's not Weston.
I know I am so bummed he's
I
not
mean, it's
Western.
disappointing because Weston sounds great.
Weston's
Right.
amazing. And he still, when Weston walks past my house, he pulls on his owner's leash to come up to see me.
Have you
No.
Only
ever tried to trade?
yeah,
Just
Yeah,
except
maybe
he
she
has
wouldn't
three little
notice.
kids. I'm like, oh my God, I miss Bud. I'm like to his mom, I'm like, we have to figure out a play date for Weston and I. She goes, I know, he just misses you so much. He can't
No.
handle walking past your house. I like have to change my route because he just wants to come up to your front door.
No.
meanwhile, Noah's locked up in timeout.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm making all his food by hand because of the chicken issue. I've gotten really good at it. So, what we do for our dogs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've got quite the few food allergy stuff in your house too. You gotta like hand make everything for everyone.
I do. And they say the dog looks like the owner, but my dog took after our diets, right? It's like I didn't want any more allergies, and guess who got more allergies?
Oh man.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it happens.
Oh, dogs. One of my favorite dog stories is about my very first dog that I had that I got when I was 18. And he is who my dog rescue is named for. My dog rescue is called Harley's Haven, and it was Harley. So I adopted him when I had no business adopting a dog. I was living in the dorm. So
Oh,
he would
Ooh,
sneak into the dorm with me. And luckily, my like RA was very dog friendly. So my entire floor knew he lived there, and we would shuffle him around from room to room based upon people's class schedules.
oh,
And they all helped me hide him. So anyway, that's not the story, but he lived with me there and I kept him. And he was very smart and he was extremely good. Like I spent a lot of time training him because I had a lot less responsibilities then. Like to be honest, like I could he was off leash trained. I could recall him. He did all the agility stuff. He would dock dive. He was like the coolest dog. So he would come to work with me, and there was a doggy daycare at my work, and they had these like 8 to 10 foot fences to keep all the dogs in, but Harley could scale them. So he was known for when he was done playing with his friends, he would scale the fence, come through the parking lot to the front door, and he knew how to open doors. So he would open the door and let himself into the vet hospital. And then he was also like kind of a douche to people. Like he would not be mean and he would not hurt anyone, but he would bark at them. So he would like let himself in and then bark at the customers. And like thinking back on it, like now owning my own practice, I feel like I would have been like, this doesn't work for me. Like your dog running around free and then barking at the people that are coming in is not really good for business. But like my boss at the time was really cool, I guess. So he would just be in the front office, like, and they would like he would let himself in, and everyone would be like, "Oh, Harley jumped out again." Which again, like looking back on now, I feel like I'd be a lot more panicky if my dogs did that. But anyway, so he was known for doing this. So this one time, there was like a creek. It was on kind of a back road where the hospital was. And there was a creek like down the street, probably like a quarter of a mile. And we would take him and a couple of his dog friends there sometimes when they wanted, we would take him swimming on our break or whatever. So there was this one day where they're out in daycare and all of a sudden we're like, where are Harley and Liam? Like, because Liam was like his best dog friend and they were missing. And so we like go out in the parking lot and I'm just out there like, Harley, like yelling, like looking around. I'm like, okay, should I be panicking? Is it panic time? And then I see them all the way down the street come up out of the woods. They're both soaking wet and they're just trotting down the street, soaking wet, that the two of them jumped the fence, took themselves on a little walkabout, went for a little swim, and then came back and were like, hey, mom, we just went for a swim by ourselves. We're back now, though. We're good. But man, that dog, I was like, are you kidding me right now? You could have gotten mauled. You could have gotten hit by a car. But he would hop the fence all the time and then just let himself in, open the door, let himself in. The people would be like, is this dog supposed
right,
to be
right.
here? And I'd be like, oh yeah, that's my dog. He's fine.
He's just a clinic dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was a very cool dog. I miss him deeply still. But
That's it.
yes, he was ill-behaved as well.
That's what I feel like veterinary, you have two types of dogs owned by veterinary professionals. Like the most well-trained, you know, right, can sit, stay, do all the things, they do agility, they do whatever. There's these amazing dogs. And then you have like, I have 7 dogs. You have my 7 dogs who, if I'm lucky, I don't have to clean up too much poop in the house. It's like they're bad. They're bad. And then we have a dog door. They all know how to use the dog door. one of our dogs is very special. Her name is Jessica. She's a hydrocephalus
Mm.
Westie. So she is bizarre. I mean, she attacks her food dish. Like you have to hold her food dish steady when she eats because if it moves, she's like I mean, it is, and she can't just make a right turn. So when she's trotting outside, she instead of just turning to the right, she actually turns to the left, makes a whole circle, and then goes to the right. Like she just, she's a very strange dog, but she does know how to use the dog door, but she'll go out. She won't go down the stairs, so she just stays on the deck, and then she comes back in and she poops and pees in the house. And I'm like,
Nice.
why? But I
Yeah.
can't even, I don't, I mean, she doesn't even understand. She doesn't,
Yeah.
she's very special. She's special. You can't pet her. Like if you touch her, like Kelly, you were saying with Noah, like if you touch her, she's like, like she doesn't bite you. She just reacts
Mhm.
weird.
Yeah.
And she plays with invisible friends. She bounces around and she's like, oh, hey, but she's looking at a wall. So she's happy. And but yeah, I think that vet dogs, like I have some technicians that their dogs are so well trained.
Hmm.
They're hunting dogs or they're show dogs and they're just so well trained. And then they look at my brood when they come in and they barely know how to walk on a leash. And I'm like, listen, we do the best we can. We're tired. We don't have a lot of time. Like
They're loved. They're
they
so
are
loved. And
they
they
are
get
loved.
great vet care. But
They
like the training, like, uh,
So you guys have read James Herriot's first book,
oh yeah.
yes.
right? Right?
Yes.
Multiple times. He's like one of my fans. And I just remember my favorite book of his is his very first book, right? When he's just getting out of school and he's getting off the bus and he got off too early and he's walking into town and he knocks on the door. And your brood is what reminds me of this, Jenny. And all he sees and hears is this massive pack of dogs running down, and he's looking through the window, and there's some that are defying gravity, right? And he just sees them jumping up and down, and then the housekeeper's coming through and trying to like get them all aside. And then he gets in there. And I'm like, that's kind of what you got, Jenny.
Oh, 100%. If they could all, so we have limited it to two dogs in the truck. So when Simon goes out on the road, there are two dogs in the truck. So we have a Westie. So we have three Westies. Two are twins, Thor and Loki. Loki is not allowed on the road because he's too much of a Westie. Like he is a terrier through and through, and he sees something and he goes. Thor is allowed to go because he listens and he's really good with other people. But he knows where every cat food dish is at every barn that we go to the point where some of the barns are so good that we call and say, yeah, Dr. George is a half an hour away. They'll go and they'll pick up the cat food. But one time I remember he had a volunteer with him. They get out of the truck at this one barn and Thor kind of just looks at him and starts like do like, creeping off to the side a little bit. And Simon says to the volunteer, run, get the cat food. And at the same time, so the volunteer goes one way and is jumping over saddles and Thor's trying to get around the other way to get to the food first. And he said it was an all-out sprint by both of them to see who could get to the cat food first. The
Oh
volunteer did
God.
make it, and Thor was like, dang it, won it again. But yeah, so I we had a veterinarian in the area that he passed. Oh my gosh, it must have been 16 years ago. But he would show up at veterinary calls, and a horde of little dogs would just pile out of his truck and run around whatever vet call they were at, and then pile back in, and they were all rescues. I mean, I think it's just in our nature, right? Like we just
Yeah.
are like, okay, the dogs that nobody else wants, okay, we'll take them. I have a three-legged clinic cat.
Mm. Yeah.
I have one of my Westies is missing a few of the toes on his back paw. It's just I have lame labs I've had multiple labs that have had joint issues. We're suckers.
Yeah.
We're
And I feel
suckers.
like our animals always end up with like weird shit too. Like
Weird.
weird medical stuff that you're like, what is going on with this dog?
My one of my favorite labs of all time. We rescued her. Her full name ended up being Honey Bunny Boo Boo Bear because I walked in and I'm like, oh, Honey Bunny Boo Boo Bear, and her tail would wag. She walked into Sam's Club, let herself in, walked into Sam's Club. To this day, I think she was just looking for snacks. We I think they did find the family who unfortunately did not have a home and they weren't able to take care of her anymore. But she walks into Sam's Club. The greeter at Sam's Club, her sister owns a rescue that we work with. And so this dog walks in fat. I'm talking fat, like fat roll on the base of the tail fat. I've never seen a dog this fat. Full of lumpy bumpies everywhere, right? So the greeter takes her to her sister's rescue. The sister's rescue brings it in and says, like, we just want to make sure that this dog isn't dying of cancer, right? Because there's lumpy bumpies everywhere. So Simon calls or texts me and says, hey, our next dog's here. I'm like, come on. And I go downstairs and it's this white faced yellow lab, fat as all get out, lumpy bumpies everywhere. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, she's our next dog. Fine. Like there was no fight on that one. So we take her in and she's old and we put her on a diet and she lives her best life while she is here. She literally walked into our house and she was like, oh, you have a couch? Oh, you have a kitchen? Okay, I'm good. And that was it. She didn't care that we had all these other dogs. She didn't care that we had kids. Like she was just happy as could be. She lost, I think, 25 pounds,
Wow.
ran around the backyard, happy as could be. All of a sudden, her mammary chain starts blowing up. And I'm like, oh God, she has mammary cancer. Oh, no, no, no. It wasn't mammary cancer. It was, hold on, extra, it was bone cancer, not in her bones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was, there was a long name for it. And I'm like, I don't understand. How does this happen? It was bone cancer, but it was so it was extra osteosarcoma, but it
Yeah, I was
was
gonna say I think it's called like extra something osteosarcoma. There's
sarcoma.
like
Yeah,
an over
extra.
I can't
Yeah, it
think
was
of.
yeah, it's something
Yeah.
weird. But anyway, so she gets this. Simon takes the mammary chain off and I'm like, "Okay, so like what does that mean?" We took the mammary chain off. She's happy as can be. And the lab work, we'd never seen this before. And all of our years, never seen this disease before, right? And I'm like, I couldn't understand mammary. Like I figured she probably was spayed late. You know, we did check her; she was spayed. But anyways, the lab work said she had like 36 days. And I'm like, how? How can you possibly be that? How do you know? She lived exactly 36 more days.
What?
Exactly 36 more days. And then one day she looked at me and she was done. And you could see it. And that was it.
Oh.
But now, oh, shoot, that one broke my heart. We only had her for, I think, 10 months. But
Oof.
boy, she was one of those like
Oh.
heart dogs, like that you loved.
Yeah.
Now we have a client who has the exact, her dog has the exact same thing.
Ooh, that's weird.
It is so weird. And she's been with us forever. So she was like, Jenni, I think your husband got it wrong. Because since we took this tumor off, my dog is doing great. And I'm like, I'm gonna be very honest with you right now. My dog did too, until she didn't. And it was about like this period of time. And she's like, it's so nice knowing that there's someone who's been through this. And I'm like, yeah, well, glad to be the first because it was the
Yeah.
most weird, right? It's the weirdest shit.
Yeah.
Why? Ugh,
I know. It's obnoxious.
it is a
So I had a Dalmatian. So all my dogs have been rescues, and I had a purebred Dalmatian that came into our life because she was purchased by a family that really shouldn't have had a Dalmatian. I mean, most families just shouldn't have Dalmatians. They're kind of a challenging breed. And they had little kids, and so
oh
I got
no.
her when
Ugh.
she was like 6 months old, kind of reactive, had lived a lot of time in a crate 'cause she was really bad. She was like Marley and me level bad. Like this dog was very challenging. So she, just speaking of weird medical stuff, because she has a ton of behavior stories, because she was a hot goddamn mess. But I loved her deeply, and she was so cute. Her name was Fiona, and I do still miss her. But when she got old, I started to notice like her eyes look weird, and she had a weird thing that apparently sometimes happens in Dalmatians because I ended up taking her to an ophthalmologist and she had like iris atrophy, but it had some big long name of Dalmatians. And so because her iris like broke down over time, it led to a lens luxation, which led to glaucoma, which led to vision loss. So she ended up like her one eye went and then she lost vision. And I was like, well, it's not doing her any favors. And now she has glaucoma that's tough to manage. So we like removed it. And
Of
then we
course.
like babied the other eye. And then like 9 months later, same freaking thing. She lost vision. So I was like, well, I guess we're removing that eye too. So at like 12 years old, I had this no-eyed
Oh,
blind as a bat Dalmatian who would still F another dog up because she was such a jerk. Like she would still haul off and attack a new dog when she was 12, no eyeballs in her head. And she would still run in the backyard because she was smart and like learned where stuff was. So I would like look out and see her hauling ass through the yard, blind as a bat. And she also learned how to open our back door when she was blind because we got like a new sliding door, like not even one that you could like flip the handle because that's like what Harley could open. No, this was a sliding door with like a handle that you have to slide open. And we got it after she was blind because we like redid our dog room. And I was like, well, they're never going to be able to let themselves in and out anymore because we used to have the handle door. And sure shit, 2 days after we had that door, I'm like, did you let the dogs in? Tom's like, no. And the door's open. So I like, staked it out because she couldn't see me anyway. And she freaking figured out how to jump up, hook her foot over the handle, and then like use her body weight to slide the door open. Mm-mm. Like, what? You kidding me? You're blind. What are you
did she
doing?
ever run into anything when she was outside running around or no?
Oh yeah. She would run into shit all the time. I'd be like, Fiona, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it. And then she'd be like, oh, dong. Because she just would run. She was nuts. That dog was crazy. She was tough. I loved her deeply, but she was a handful, that dog, for till the bitter end. I was like,
Right.
is she ever gonna be better? Like, will behaviorally she be good? Like, is she gonna slow down? 'Cause she was like hyperactive. She would, when my son was a toddler, I remember one time I'm upstairs, we have like a lofted upstairs, and I hear lapping, and I like look over the loft. She's all 4 feet on my dining room table drinking my coffee while I was like upstairs changing his diaper when he was a baby. I was like, Fiona, are you kidding me right now? She's
She's
like,
like,
we left it here.
I just need some caffeine, mom.
Yeah.
I have a gold star. Noah is a gold star counter surfer. So we've had to place rules in the household because the intersection of the child and the dog don't meet well, or the family cabin. So raisins are banned from the house because, of course, it's always when I'm in the bathroom. Always in the bathroom. Always 1,000% in the bathroom. And I hear, Noah, no, 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 drop it. And he was, attached for food, so you don't really go after that. I told my daughter, don't go after that unless you have a broom. And I had left my raisin toast in there in the toaster oven, safe, 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 to run to the loo to come back, right? So the emergency room, because the vet couldn't get him to throw up, of course not. Could
Ugh.
not, even with, get him to
He
throw up.
opened, hold on, he opened the toaster oven?
No, the kid took out the toaster oven.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a second.
And then she turned her back, which she knows
Oh,
better against the rules that if you have food, you guard it with your life if he's out. Like, I will put him away for meals because you like the whole kitchen is dog proof, right? And the
Yeah.
other rule is, because we also went through this one, is if you have anything chocolate, it lives in the fridge. Like brownies, cookies, I don't give a shit. It goes in the fridge because he doesn't know how to open the door, right? That's the one place. Even this last weekend, my mom made my daughter brownies in up at the cabin. She goes, well, where did the brownies go? I'm like, in the fridge. Like,
right.
like it's the only safe spot, mom, because you turn your back all the time and then you yell at me because he counter surfs. But you left her right there, like right there. What is he going to do? He says, well, crap, you gave me a buffet. I'm going to help myself, right?
He's an opportunist.
He
Yep.
is, but he was an opportunist in the emergency room wearing a pack when they got 33 raisins out of his stomach. And I'm really grateful I have pet insurance. But yes, that was a thing, right? Yeah, so I hear you. Like literally, there, like we go on vacations and eat grapes. We will buy a big thing of grapes because
Because you're
out
so
of the house.
excited.
We are
The
so
dog's not here. We can have grapes.
Other people are eating like, junk food and they're like, ooh, grapes.
it's grapes. What kind do you want? We could get green. We could get cotton candy. We could get. I'll buy all three of them.
The
Crap, what ones do
opportunities
you
are
want?
endless. It's shocking.
Oh,
We had
God.
my worst counter server ever. Her name was Sarah. We opened up the practice in 2007, and of course, the recession was 2008, and we started seeing a lot of dogs getting just dumped. We are a very rural area. So Sarah was just dumped. She had blown both back, another fat lab. She'd blown both back cruciates. She was on thyroid. She should have been on thyroid medication. And when we found her, she had porcupine quills in her face.
Oh,
Oh.
So she comes in, we hold on to her for the week, and Simon and I are like, no one is going to adopt this dog. Like, let's just keep her. She was not good with kids. Like, she would try and bite my kids all the time. And I'm like, listen, you have to learn, like, don't mess with Sarah. She's not, but she was this tall. She was a real tall lab. She was about 100 pounds when she lost her weight, but she was a tall lab. That freaking dog would get on every counter that we had. We tried everything. This was before we finally ended up, what was it? Invisible Fence came out with discs that you could use in the house.
Oh,
So
yeah.
finally use those, and you make them like a foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, whatever. We did it the big because we feed our dogs in the kitchen too, because that's the
mhm.
easiest place to clean. But before we got that, we tried putting mouse traps. Like first, we tried like tape so that her paws would get stuck. She didn't care. Then we tried like tin foil or aluminum foil in case that would make noise. She didn't care. We tried mouse traps. She just smack them to the side. That freaking dog on Christmas Eve got up and ate the blueberry pie that had not been cut into because it was for Christmas Day. She carried the entire dish into the only carpet that we have in our
Oh,
entire house
no.
and ate the whole blueberry pie. There's this massive stain and a very clean bowl, and she was just as proud of herself as she could be. And I'm like, I'll kill you. But yeah, nothing was safe. Nothing was safe.
Yeah.
She lived with us for, I want to say, 2 or 3 years. She ended up in kidney failure, but because she was on anti-inflammatory or yeah, NSAIDs. But
Yeah.
yeah, she was the worst. And she just put her head there. Now I have an Irish wolfhound who literally can put her head there and she'll sniff at everything and she might like lick the edge of the plate, but she will not take food. She knows like that
Yeah.
is not okay. But man, counter surfers are the worst.
Yeah.
They're hardcore, man. You know,
They are. I had a St. Bernard once, caught him literally 110 pounds on top of my kitchen table. And I'm like, Milton, what are you? Oh, no, it was Marvin. He was Marvin. Sorry, I had a chocolate lab at the same time that was Milton. And I was like, Marvin, what are you doing? And he just looks up like, hey, how's it going? Too dumb to even know that he was in trouble. Like, he never even tried to scramble off the table. He was just like, did you know there's food up here? I'm like,
Hey, Mom, I just made the best discovery ever. There's freaking food up here.
meanwhile, my kid, whose breakfast he's eating, is in the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, we cannot leave the food on the table. Now I have a cat that does that, Esther. She'll take an entire breakfast sandwich off of my kids' plates and run with it. But of course, she can't get far. So then the dogs are all just waiting for Esther to like deliver the food to them. God, these animals, like
speaking of dumb dogs, I grew up with labs my entire life. Okay. Hardcore labs, lots of stories with that. But one of them, we had some sisters. One, Nutmeg was mine. Misty was my brother's. Nutmeg was the runt of the pack, but the intelligent one. She carried the brain for both of them. Misty was the largest one. I'm not kidding. So we lived on 40 acres at the time. My mom's on her 18th house. So we always talk about family stories, which town, which house, because there's been many. So in this story, honest to God, Misty was so dumb. We loved her so much. But if she was outside in the driveway somehow without her sister and her back was to the house, she thought she was lost. And she would sit there and whine and freak out. And then we'd call her name, hey, Misty. And she'd turn around and she'd see the house and be like,
Oh, thank God.
oh, this is great.
There.
I know it was like, where did that come from? We mess with her sometimes because it was so bad, right? Like, and
That's
then
so.
Misty Nutmeg got hit by a car, and so she died in
Oh,
my arms, and Misty was left without her. So she didn't have a brain for 9 months, and her sister, and
oh.
and then she died of heartbreak. You could just tell she ended up getting cancer in her jaw, and she just wanted her sister, right? Like they were like one soul and two dogs type of thing.
Yeah.
But I
The
got to
brain
tell you,
didn't
I've
get split.
never
That's a
had a
bummer.
dog that dumb.
Chocolate labs?
Blonde,
Oh, really?
yeah, full
Yeah.
bred, AK, AKC papers, like everything. They also loved porcupines.
Oh God.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
and we used to go that this way. We were in Idaho Falls at the time. We'd go over the mountain to Jackson Hole in the 70s, which was pre-Hollywood, which everything was affordable then because there's only 2,000 people there. And my dad was a radiologist, and he'd go over to do relief work because they had to beg all the doctors to come in to the town, right? But we built a cabin from scratch there. And the girls would go out, which is, I don't know why my parents let them loose, because the rule of the house was keep a tree between you and anything larger than you. And if there's moose in or bear in the backyard, you don't go outside. Like that was the childhood rule.
Yeah,
So just
rule.
think that one through just a little bit, right? And then they let the dogs go, and you can hear the wolves, and
Oh God.
you can hear all of this chaos going
Poor
on.
Misty was probably like, "Are you my friend?"
They'd come trotting back with just a face full of quills. It got so bad, the vet just gave us pre syringes for anesthesia for my dad to put him down because he's a medical doctor and said, here you go, get a pair of pliers and take him out. I don't want them
Oh my God.
suffering in the back of the SUV while until you get them back over the hill and you get them to me. It was a thing.
Mm.
Yikes. So
Definitely.
I've one more really good Fiona story. So
Okay, and then we'll end with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So
We could
one
just keep
time,
telling stories
I
I
know we
know,
all
we have
have
a
a
lot of
million.
them.
If
right.
you have pets your whole life, you just accumulate amazing stories. So Fiona was very food motivated as well and would eat anything. And so this one year I got this new like little advent calendar for Connor, my son, for Christmas. And it was like a wall hanging one. And it had all these little magnets, one for every day of the month. And so I like painstakingly set this up and I put like a Hershey Kiss under each magnet. And it was like held up by its like little foil thing. And I set it all up on December 1st. And then, Connor opened one and I went, everybody left for the day. And I come home and I'm like, the next morning, I'm like, oh, Connor, we should do your little advent calendar. And we go over and it's like, and it was like high on the wall. Like it was probably around like my height level. And I go over to it, not one Hershey Kiss is left, but it is completely undisturbed. So, like, maybe a few of the magnets were like slid around a little, but it was perfectly fine on the wall. It wasn't knocked aside, it had not been knocked down, but all of them are gone. So, I blame my husband. I'm like, Tom, did you eat all of the Hershey Kisses? He's like, what? No, why would I do that? I'm like, you must have eaten them. They're all gone. It's not disturbed. So later that day, Fiona poops out a whole bunch of freaking tinfoil and we figured it out. She must have sat there and 30 times, 24 times, I guess, jumped up because she couldn't reach it by standing on her feet. She had to leap in the air. So she was leaping in the air 25 times to eat every single freaking Hershey Kiss off of that thing.
Just like the first you blame the husband.
I did.
And because that's always right. Like, for no way is the dog going to do this. And he's probably like, what the hell? Yes, I ate my child's advent calendar. Like,
Right.
but the
He
best
was
thing
like,
is,
seriously, you think I ate them all? Like I'm a little kid?
right, the best part is that her poop was decorated for the holidays.
It was. It was
It was
very festive.
like shiny. That is, listen, this is what, so the message to our listeners is talk to your vet and ask them what their favorite dog story is.
Yeah.
Because guaranteed, we all have one, just like you have one, because we're pet parents too, right? Like
Yeah.
and we have naughty dogs, and we have dogs with behavioral issues, and we have dogs with health issues.
Yeah.
I tell everybody that's why I married a vet. Because they're like, you have 7 dogs. I'm like, yeah, that's why I married a vet. I said, I almost left him for my pediatrician, but I actually really like him, so I guess I'll keep him. But I mean, that's what we do, and we rescue all of the dogs that nobody else wants.
Yeah.
That,
And you are not alone. If you are a client with an
Mm-mm.
ill-behaved dog, we see you. We feel you. You are not alone. If you're a veterinarian listening to this and you're like, my dogs are the worst, we see you too. And you're not alone either.
And
because Beth,
we
because
write us
Beth
your
just ran through the
story.
woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, write us your story in the comments because we may
Yeah.
read them off. We won't like out you, but if you have some good stories, we may read them off on the podcast, right? Like, please leave them. We'd love to share and hear all about them.
This
Yep.
is a judgment-free zone. We
Yes.
Great.
listen and we do not judge.
Yes.
That is how this group is going to work because guaranteed, whatever story you have, we're probably like, yep, been there.
Yep.
Yeah, been there.
It doesn't just have to be dogs, though. It could be anything. Like
Yeah.
there are cat stories. I know people who have had like rats that have done crazy things,
Mhm.
birds, horses. God knows the horse stories. We could do a whole thing on horse stories, goats. We, yeah. So we'd love to hear all of them.
Yes. So leave them in a comment near you on whatever platform that you're on. We'll find them. And until then, adieu. Thank you for listening to our stories, and we can't wait to hear yours. Until later, unfiltered vet discussion. See you next week.